Welcome back to part 2 of the Cub Cadet fuel pump replacement. So it's been a couple of days and looks like I've got the fuel pump. Woo-hoo-hoo. So as we left off from part 1, this was the condition of that fuel pump. Locked up, full of crust and rust. And as you can see, it has been eaten up by the fuel. And mind you, this was just regular normal fuel, not no E85 or anything like that. So I prepared the basket, cleaned it up, put another end on here, which was the negative end, and made sure that the positive end is all set and ready to go. Put a little bit of the electric grease, which worked out very nice. After using some battery terminal cleaner, this cleaned up very, very well. So let's go ahead, break open the box and see what we got. This came in from Amazon. I love Amazon's next day service, in this case the 2-day service. And it was only $97. Originally it was about $99 from the other website, but I found it on Amazon as well. Look at this. It also comes with a gasket for the fuel tank. But this is what we are looking at here. So let's cut it open. All right, we have cut it open now. And let's pull this out. So look at this. It just happens to be that this is a almost perfect match to what we have here. I was thinking that I may have to save this part, but looks like I do not. Looks like it's going to be a direct fit right in. And then here we're going to add the I know I said last time in the previous one that we may not need it, but this should be a fuel grade type hose. We will cut it to length, slide it on here, and fit it. All right. We'll add the sock on the bottom after taking off the cap. There we go. Cap comes off, pumps inside. Let's look at the one from the top here. Yes. All set, all good to go. And the sock to go on the bottom simply snaps on here, like so. And this is a surprise to have a new gasket for the tank. So let's go ahead, put a little extra grease on this and slide it onto here. Use the clamps to hold it in nice and tight. And get right. Okay, we've got the pump all set in. We're gonna put the clamp on top. Screw it down. And then we're going to cut to length on this one. So right about here. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have now put together the pump. Brand new pump. And just for reference, these do have a little leeway. As I was putting this in, I was able to flex this back. So this is going to sit down in, and I followed the example it had before. It had just a little tilt to it. It's not a big deal. And I put one band here, tighten it down really nice and snug, and one here, all the way flush. So the nipple comes through the hose till about right there, and this one, as you can see from the indentation, there. So this was a cut to size, a fuel hose, and this is all set now. Negative to negative, positive to positive. Ready to hook onto the fuel. And we will be good to go. All right, let's clean up this mess, bring back the tank, and get everything started. Okay, so we are now going to, we've got the tank down, cleaned it up very nicely. We're going to put the sock on the bottom of the pump, and there is actually a little notch that you want to line up that with. So make sure you just don't put it in there any kind of way. I know it's a bad angle, but there you have it. The sock is on. It's going to help filter out any excess trash and debris, little small chemicals. And we're going to go ahead and put this in and face it this way, because we have our hose that feeds from the pump to the engine facing that way. All right, so we now have this attached. Everything's good to go. I'm going to tighten this down a little bit more once I put it inside the machine. That way it's a little bit more stable and I can rotate it around. Let's take this cap off, because you need to take it off, and pull this piece out here so that you can feed it through the hole and put the tank on. Let's go. So we have now been able to put the fuel tank back in. We've got this nice and tight. We've got our fuel supply line with a fresh new pump inside, and we have it running down. So as we start it up, it's going to take a little time to prime, because this is every bit of a 3/4 inch line, and it has to fill this line up. And we don't want to run it too long, but we want to cycle it through, make sure that the fuel is getting in there, maybe crack the line, bleed it. But with a fuel injection system, you don't have to. It's a self-priming system, so you should be really good to go. I've got everything buttoned down. There's a screw here. There are 2 screws along the side there, one there. One on that side. I'll put the key ignition system in, then the top part of the cowl. But before I do all that, I'll end up putting on the steering wheel and then charging the battery up and reconnecting it. So, for those who wanted to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably a even 5, only because you have to be very careful about everything you do when it comes to taking these things apart. There is a step-by-step process, and making sure that you do not break anything or damage anything. So the only thing that I actually had an issue with was a retaining clip that goes there. Tried to use some special glue. However, could not fix it. If anybody out there has one of these little retaining clips, they're plastic, I greatly appreciate it. I've tried to cross-reference this at Ace Hardware store, but no luck. So in part 3, ladies and gentlemen, we will put the final bits and pieces on, and we will prime it with short cycles of start to get the fuel up. That way we don't burn out the starter, and we will go from there. All right. Thank you for joining me on this part 2. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe, and we will have part 3 ready for the startup so we can cut our own grass and stop paying this $150, $200. Thanks, and see you next time. Peace.